नमस्कार और सुप्रभात। देवी और सज्जनों, हमारी मुख्य अतिथि भारत की महामहिम राष्ट्रपति श्रीमती द्रौपदी मुर्मू जी का ऊर्जा दक्षता ब्यूरो विद्युत मंत्रालय द्वारा आयोजित राष्ट्रीय ऊर्जा संरक्षण पुरस्कार वितरण के भव्य समारोह में हार्दिक स्वागत है। इस अवसर पर श्री आर.के. सिंह जी, केंद्रीय विद्युत नवीन और नवीकरणीय ऊर्जा मंत्री, श्री कृष्णपाल, विद्युत और भारी उद्योग राज्य मंत्री, श्री आलोक कुमार, सचिव भारत सरकार विद्युत मंत्रालय तथा श्री अभय बाकरे, महानिदेशक ऊर्जा दक्षता ब्यूरो, हम आप सभी का हार्दिक स्वागत करते हैं। We also extend our warm welcome to senior officials from the government, members from multilateral and bilateral organizations, India's future young school children, teachers and parents who have joined us from different parts of the country. I'm also delighted to welcome the industry leaders from various sectors and our innovators. अब मैं स्वागत भाषण के लिए विद्युत मंत्रालय भारत सरकार के सचिव श्री आलोक कुमार जी को आमंत्रित करती हूं।
Your Excellency, Honorable President of India, Honorable Minister Shri R.K. Singh Ji, Honorable Minister of State Shri Krishnapal Singh Ji, distinguished delegates, senior officers of Government of India, heads of central public sector undertakings, DG Bureau of Energy Efficiency, CEOs and executives of industries, organizations, and state governments, members of media, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all of you. It's a pride moment for all of us as we celebrate 32nd National Energy Conservation Day 2022. It's my proud privilege to welcome you all on behalf of Ministry of Power on this great occasion. The growth of any economy depends upon the availability of affordable energy sources. Remarkable progress has been witnessed in the field of industry, agriculture, communication, transport, and other service sectors. India had also been addressing the challenge of meeting the growing demand of energy, which is now more than 600 million tons of oil equivalent in a year, and it is expected to be doubled by year 2040. Sustainability and climate change are increasingly attracting global attention. Therefore, we also fully recognize the efforts required to fight climate change and pursue sustainable development. Collaboration with various stakeholders, including the international community, is indispensable for success in this endeavor. India has taken over presidency of G20, and the theme is Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam. One earth, one family, one future. The message is loud and clear that humanity needs to strive for just and equitable growth for all in the world. India has made impressive progress by accelerating the ongoing energy efficiency programs and bringing in new initiatives. These programs have gathered unprecedented momentum, and the states have also come forward to implement and disseminate various energy efficiency programs in recent years. Energy efficiency also contributes in achieving the Sustainable Development Goal. SDG 7 aims to ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable and modern energy for all. One of the targets under this goal is to double the global rate of energy efficiency improvement by 2030. The spillover effects of energy efficiency also contribute towards achieving other SDGs. Promoting energy efficiency is going to assist us not only in enhancing energy access, but also in reducing our import dependence, bringing down the energy costs for the consumers, as well as increasing energy productivity, leading to energy security for the country. India is among the few countries in the world to publish a cooling action plan with a long-term vision to take care of cooling requirements across sectors. I am delighted to share a fact with you that the 448 participating units and other establishments in National Energy Conservation Awards this year have collectively been able to achieve savings of more than rupees 1500 crore and avoided capacity generation of more than 370 megawatt. This demonstrates the huge energy saving potential which can be tapped if all our industrial units and establishments adopt the schemes for energy efficiency. My special appreciation to school children for their enthusiasm and engagement in the painting competition. I congratulate all the winners of 32nd National Energy Conservation Awards 2022 and 2nd National Energy Efficiency Innovation Award 2022. Jai Hind.
Now we invite Kumari Banasmita Kashyap, the winner of Group B National Level Painting Competition, to felicitate Madam President by presenting her with a memento. Thank you. For centuries, India has lived in unison with Mother Nature. The cultural cycle of India is synchronous with the natural cycles. With the advent of modern technology and industrialization, there has been a drastic change in the lifestyle of people. Our Honorable Prime Minister has reminded the urgency of living in tandem with nature and unveiled a life concept. Lifestyle for Environment as a mission towards net zero. Presenting this concept, we shall have a screening of the short film on energy conservation, India's success story towards life mission.
क्लाइमेट चेंज पर इस वैश्विक मंथन के बीच मैं भारत की ओर से इस चुनौती से निपटने के लिए 5 अमृत तत्व रखना चाहता हूं।
As a part of the global energy transition, countries are making efforts to mitigate the effects of climate change with a renewed focus on clean energy and energy conservation. The last 8 years have witnessed a rapid transition towards renewable sources of energy. India has had the fastest growth rate in renewable energy capacity addition among large economies.
In our NDCs announced in COP21 in Paris, we had pledged that by 2030, 40% of our power generation capacity will be from non-fossil fuel sources. We achieved this in November 21, a good 9 years ahead of schedule.
Under the mandate given in EC Act 2001, several innovative energy efficiency national programs have been successfully designed and implemented by Ministry of Power. For the large industries from energy-intensive sectors, Perform, Achieve and Trade or PAT program have now covered more than 1,100 industrial units. The program has saved energy worth rupees 40,000 crore annually and about 105 million ton of CO2 emissions have been avoided annually. Standards and labeling program, popularly known as Star Rating for energy efficient household appliances, have resulted in over 60 billion units of electricity savings per year and avoided 50 million tons of CO2 emissions annually. The Ujala program, launched in 2015, has led to deployment of over 150 crore LED lamps, resulting in substantial electricity savings while reducing carbon dioxide emissions of about 100 million tons of CO2 annually. The energy conservation efforts in the buildings sector are also being accelerated. BEE has formulated Energy Conservation Building Codes or ECBC to improve the energy efficiency in new commercial buildings. Similarly, for residential sector, the launch of Econivas Sanghita has offered new opportunities for savings of energy in homes. The overall impact of energy efficiency schemes have been huge. The total energy cost savings has been rupees 1.5 lakh crore annually, along with annual CO2 emission reduction of 267 million tons. The traditional Indian lifestyle has been environment friendly, and therefore India is always on the forefront in saving environment and leading the pathways for the world to adopt to lifestyle for environment, that is life.
क्लाइमेट चेंज में लाइफस्टाइल की एक बहुत बड़ी भूमिका है। आज जरूरत है कि हम सभी लोग एक साथ आकर लाइफस्टाइल फॉर एनवायरनमेंट यानी लाइफ को एक अभियान की तरह आगे बढ़ाएं।
In keeping with the global launch of Honorable Prime Minister's Life, this will ensure that every citizen joins life to make it a mass movement. During the period of our G20 presidency, the energy transition efforts made by India will be leading the world towards a sustainable growth for our planet. Let's take a pledge on Energy Conservation Day to conserve energy and reaffirm our commitment to Mother Nature.
This was quite insightful, illustrating the importance of energy conservation in life mission. Electric vehicles are the future for sustainable mobility mode. As we today have petrol stations around, similarly, charging stations at desirable locations would play a vital role for creating an ecosystem for EVs. The EV Yatra web portal and mobile app are aimed at creating awareness among the EV users and masses at large to promote e-mobility in the country. May I now request Honorable President to unveil EV Yatra web portal for the citizens of the country. More about this portal is available in this video clip.
विद्युत मंत्रालय भारत सरकार के मार्गदर्शन में ऊर्जा दक्षता ब्यूरो यानी बीईई ने इलेक्ट्रिक वाहनों के सार्वजनिक ईवी चार्जिंग स्टेशनों के लिए वेब पोर्टल और मोबाइल ऐप बनाया है। ईवी यात्रा नाम के इस पोर्टल को www.evyatra.beeindia.gov.in द्वारा उपयोग किया जा सकता है। ईवी यात्रा पोर्टल और मोबाइल ऐप का उद्देश्य देश में ई मोबिलिटी की जागरूकता पैदा करना है ताकि लोग अधिक से अधिक इलेक्ट्रिक वाहनों का प्रयोग कर सकें। ईवी यात्रा पोर्टल और मोबाइल ऐप देश भर में उपलब्ध सार्वजनिक चार्जिंग स्टेशनों के स्थान, संख्या सहित वहां उपलब्ध चार्जिंग पॉइंट्स की भी जानकारी देगा। इस ईवी यात्रा पोर्टल और मोबाइल ऐप की मदद से उपभोक्ता अपने निकटतम सार्वजनिक ईवी चार्जर और चार्जिंग कनेक्टर तक आसानी से पहुंच सकेंगे। इसके अतिरिक्त ईवी यात्रा पोर्टल पर ई मोबिलिटी को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए और भी कई जानकारियां मौजूद हैं। यही नहीं, पेट्रोल, डीजल और सीएनजी गाड़ियों की खरीद से लेकर ईंधन खर्च की तुलना इलेक्ट्रिक वाहनों से करने की सुविधा भी उपलब्ध है। ये पोर्टल देश भर में भारत सरकार द्वारा शुरू किए गए गो इलेक्ट्रिक अभियान के विभिन्न कार्यक्रमों की एक झलक प्रदान करता है, जिससे ज्यादा लोग ईवी के लिए अग्रसर हों। आज से ईवी यात्रा मोबाइल ऐप को सभी स्मार्टफोन्स के द्वारा डाउनलोड किया जा सकता है। आइए इस मोबाइल ऐप पर रजिस्टर करें और देश भर में बिना किसी फिक्र के कहीं भी और कभी भी अपना ईवी वाहन चलाएं। तो अब और देरी न करें और ऊर्जा संरक्षण के साथ एक शून्य उत्सर्जन यात्रा की शुरुआत करें। Let's begin zero emission journey. Go electric.
अब मैं श्री आर.के. सिंह जी, माननीय केंद्रीय मंत्री विद्युत नवीन और नवीकरणीय ऊर्जा मंत्रालय को सभा को संबोधित करने के लिए आमंत्रित करती हूं।
Honorable President, Ma'am, Shri Krishnapal Gujjar ji, the Minister of State for Power, Shri Alok Kumar, Secretary Power, Ministers from State Governments, ambassadors and delegates from overseas missions, senior officers from the central and the state government, the CMDs of CPSUs and other officers, industry champions, experts, media persons, ladies and gentlemen, and most important, the children. Good morning and welcome. We have gathered today to partake in the National Energy Conservation Day 22 and to remind ourselves, as we remind the world, that energy conservation and climate action are inextricably linked not just with each other, but with our lives and the society as well. Today, India's contribution to energy transition and the growth of renewable energy capacity at the national level needs no elaboration. As a nation, we have achieved within a short period of time what the developed world around us took decades to achieve. This is evident from the quantum of renewable energy that is being generated and used, and the fulfillment of our nationally determined contribution commitments ahead of the timelines, and our unwavering resolve to bulwark energy conservation measures in every walk of life. Madam President, I would like to present before you some of the notable measures that have been undertaken by the Ministry of Power and the Bureau of Energy Efficiency. The demand-side management of power consumption through the use of energy-efficient appliances. This includes the use of energy-efficient LED lighting under the Ujala scheme, the agricultural pumps, the ceiling fans, and air conditioners. All this has resulted in a reduction of CO2 emissions of almost 100 million tons per annum. A decade of perform, achieve, and trade scheme for energy-intensive industries. This has resulted in the reduction of carbon dioxide emissions to the tune of 106 million tons per annum. This scheme covers about 1,196 units across 13 different sectors at present. The standards and labeling scheme for domestic appliances that help consumers to make informed choices about power consumption and savings. This program has resulted in a savings of about 60 billion units of electricity annually and a reduction of CO2 emissions by 50 million tons per year. The scheme presently covers 30 appliances and is going to be extended to cover more appliances in future. Madam President, in COP21 in Paris, we had pledged that by 2030, we shall reduce the emissions intensity of our economy by 33 to 35% as compared to 2005 levels. Madam President, I am happy to inform you that we've already reduced the emissions intensity of our economy by more than 30% already, and we are a good 8 years away from our target date. We shall cross that target well in time. Madam President, we have taken major steps for energy efficiency improvements in the construction sector. That sector, the housing sector, the building sector, accounts for almost 24% of our electricity consumption, of our energy consumption. We put in place the Energy Conservation Building Code, the presentation of which you saw, and the Eco Niwas Sanstha. Both will cover commercial buildings as well as residential buildings. And these lay down the steps to be taken in construction so as to reduce the energy intensity of buildings, so as to move towards green buildings. That's what the ECBC and the Eco Niwas Sanhita are about, for movement towards green buildings. Now these the ECBC has been adopted by 22 states. They have made it a part of their building bylaws. And similarly, the next step, now that the Energy Conservation Amendment Bill has been passed, we will come out with a code for residential buildings. So right now it's voluntary, the Eco Niwas Sanhita. Now it will be made compulsory. And that will again be made a part of the building bylaws, so that future buildings, that the large buildings and buildings which have a connected load of more than 100 kilowatts, not the small buildings, the large buildings will have to abide by the energy efficiency norms, and thereby will further make our buildings more green and more efficient. Honorable President, Madam, the passing of the Energy Conservation Amendment Bill in the Parliament a couple of days back enables the government, among other measures, to establish a carbon trading mechanism and prescribe minimum percentages of non-fossil fuels to be used for consumption. This is expected to further encourage energy savings and further reduce emissions as well as energy costs. This is expected to create a robust carbon market that will incentivize the shift to clean fuels. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Prime Minister of India had announced 2 landmark interventions at COP26 in Glasgow. One was the Panchamrit, by which India will aim to reduce the emissions intensity of its GDP by 45% by 2030 compared to the 2005 levels. Now this is an extension, this is an expansion of our ambition. Earlier we had pledged that we will reduce the emissions intensity of our economy by 33 to 35%. Now because we are very close to achieving that goal 8 years ahead of time, therefore we have upped our ambition, and now by 2030 we will reduce the emissions intensity of our economy by 45%. We have upped our ambition by more than 10%. And this despite the fact that our per capita emissions are 1/3 of the global average. Our per capita emissions are 1/3 of the global average, and despite that, we have already reduced the emissions intensity by 30%, and we shall reduce it by 45% by 2030. Now that is the scale of our ambition. And that is our commitment to the environment. That is our country's commitment to the environment. The other initiative announced by the Honorable Prime Minister was LIFE, the lifestyle for environment. Honorable President, Mahatma Gandhi had said that there is enough in this world, and the earth provides us enough for our needs. There's enough for our need, but not enough for our greed. Now, that is very true. That is something which is being demonstrated now with the deteriorating environment. And one of the reasons for the deteriorating environment is our untrammeled hunger for consumption, which leads to greater consumption of energy than required and therefore more emissions. Now, life is something which goes back to what Mahatma Gandhi said, that there is enough for our need, not enough for our greed. And therefore, we have to tailor our lifestyle to make this earth sustainable, to protect our environment. This requires a collective effort. The environment cannot be protected by efforts of government alone. Every citizen has to contribute by making small changes to the way we live our everyday lives. Every tiny step we take, we can transform our environment for the better. That is the mission life. Honorable President, Madam, we had policymakers to make